Hey guys, so today I'm going to walk you through a full body workout with just using one single band. I know some people have bought these from some stores. Some people have ones that don't have handles attachment. That's okay, you can do the same exact workout with those. Other people have what's called a TheraBand that you might have got from physical therapy. That will work for this workout as well. Anything to add a little bit of resistance to these movements that we're going to do today will help you get a good workout in. The thing with bands is even if we don't think, they're nice and light, I can't use them, I need heavier ones, you can do any resistance and still feel a good burn. The purpose of the exercise is we want to feel that fatigue in the muscle. So instead of using rep counts, today we're going to work for time. And I want you to work for, the time zone that works for you, but usually around a minute is going to give you that little burn that we're looking for through our muscles. So use all of these. You're going to get 8 new movements today for a full body workout, and you're going to try to perform them for 60 seconds straight. Give yourself a break in between, but 60 seconds is what we're trying to work for. You can move at your pace. Remember, everyone's going to move at a different pace, but it's totally up to you on how fast you go. I just want you working for that full 60 seconds. So the first movement we're going to work through is just simply a squat. All right, how do we add a little bit of resistance onto that? It's very simple. All you're going to do is start with that tension when you're up. All right, you can open out your feet to as far as you need to hold more of that band down, but you're just going to hold those weights right to the front, kind of like we were doing like a front squat. So what you're going to do is you're going to squat down into that squat. The band's going to be nice and easy, and as you press up, you're going to feel that resistance through the band. So for a minute, you're going to try to keep this squat going. In the beginning, it might feel a little easy, but I promise you, as that time goes, it's going to feel more and more pressure through those thighs. Perfect. You also, if that's too much resistance, you can keep those hands down. You can hold lower on your resistance band if you need to tighten and still continue doing that squat. All right, second movement that we have, hi Mojito, move on over there, okay. Second movement that we have is what's just a band curl. So keeping those palms straight up, we're gonna keep those elbows in nice and tight and work through this curl motion. Once again, 60 seconds is what we're working with. Good. So remember, at any time you need to hold more resistance down, you can keep your feet wider, hold more of the band down, or if you need it easier, you can move those feet in a little bit closer. You also, for some of these, you can just hold with one foot down if you need it a little bit lighter. So your next movement is going to be a walking band walk, okay? So you're going to stand with those feet about shoulder width to start, right on top of those bands. Go ahead and crisscross your bands. So you can either hold them by your handles. That crisscross just puts them a little tighter on the outside of your feet. You're going to keep that tension pulling up on it, driving up through the shoulders. You're going to feel that nice and strong as you hold. And then a big step out laterally and back together. Keeping that tension pulled on those bands. We're working the outside of the hips, and you're going to simply take 5 steps one way, 5 steps the other. Back and forth, 1 minute long. Outside of that hips where we're driving from. Big step, core's engaged. We're not rocking. Back and forth. Good. Back to the upper body exercises. We're going to go into what's called a band row. Okay? Feet are staying shoulder width apart, holding on to those handles. I'm going to hinge at my hips so that my back is nice and flat. Let me turn sideways for you here so you can see this. Okay, so my back's nice and flat, my head's in line with my spine, my hips are back. I got tension on my band, and I want to row those elbows right up to my side as I squeeze my shoulder blades. So for 1 minute, big squeeze between the shoulders, making sure your feet on that. Perfect. The next one we're gonna do, we're gonna be laying on the ground. This is what we call a leg press using our bands. Once again, working through those quads. All right, so for a leg press, you're going to put that band in the middle of your feet. So in between that arch, all right, between your toes and your heels. You don't want it to be too high up or too far on the bottom. And you're gonna lay back, holding the tension on both those bands, keeping your head back so that your core is down against the ground, spine from your low back to your head. And then you're gonna simply press out and wide. Back in, out, and wide. This is all about working slow control, squeezing through those quads as you press. If we go too fast on this, it's very easy for the band to slip off our heels and hit us or off our toes, so we want to make sure that we have that slow control as we're pressing out and wide. Press, squeeze through your quads and push out against the outside of your hips. Second to last movement we have here is that upright row. This is the same kind of position that we stood in when we were doing that band walk, except now we're gonna work through those shoulders moving instead of just holding. Big elbow squeeze, pull them right up to your chest. Remember, you're always leading with your elbows. All right, if that's a little uncomfortable if the elbows bend, you can always work through that straight arm, working through your deltoid. That's just that big pull out to the side and wide. Whatever is more comfortable for you, working through that outside, that shoulder, 1 minute long. Our core workout for our bands is going to be what's called a sit-up pull apart. So you can wedge your feet or keep them flat on the floor. You're going to hold that band and you're going to sit all the way back into that crunch position. Come to a sit-up and then give it a big pull, squeezing your chest, close, and back down. The closer you grip on this one, the harder it'll make it. So if you need a little bit more resistance between that band. 2 parts, sit up first, pull apart, squeezing back through those shoulder blades. Slow and controlled. Make sure that this isn't snapping back. You want the same speed that you pull out to be the same speed that you come in on. Our last movement for today, if you have a door handle, any type of pull that you can wrap that band around, we want to be working through our triceps, which is that back of the arm. All right, so what they're going to look like, we get back into that bent over position. My elbows are tucked into my side, and then I'm going to extend that arm straight back, squeezing through the top of my triceps. I can either do this with one hand or I can work through both at the same time, making sure that I'm keeping that perfect posture the whole time, back nice and flat. 1 minute. So remember, go through all those exercises, work at least 60 seconds on them before you move. We're looking for that nice burn in the muscles, that fatigue, that exhaustion. Keep the heart rate up. Give yourself about 15 to 20 seconds in between, just so you can get moving, and then try to complete all those 8 exercises, 1 minute each for 4 rounds. Have a great workout.